teaching you to make useful content so that you can build long-term relationships with the people that matter to your business. Hello and welcome to Useful Content. And today we have a brand new teacher in our Useful Content classroom, LaShaun Ramdin. Hi, LaShaun.
Hi, Juma. Hello, everyone. Happy to be here. I hope I could lend some useful insights.
Yeah, I'm sure you will be able to. We know each other. I think the first time I saw you in person probably was at the Sales as a Profession conference, maybe. Yeah.
Yes.
We shared the stage together at that time. And since then, I've been kind of tracking you around the internet, popping up in different places. Most recent of which is on the Media Insight podcast that we actually recorded. And I listened to that episode and I'm saying, oh, LaShaun, like I think it was that day I asked you to be on.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
So it's great to have you on because we kind of were working up to it and we finally got a date that worked. Yeah. So LaShaun, could you tell the people what you do and how you help your clients make useful content?
I am a digital marketer. I am a certified digital marketer. I have a lot of, certifications, qualifications in this space. And most notably from Google, I attend a lot of their conferences. I am asked to be in attendance to a lot of the stuff that Google does within our LATAM region because the Caribbean is kind of lumped into Latin America. And when they have events in North America, mostly the USA. So I would say I'm a certified Google digital marketer. How it is I assist clients and basically anyone to create useful content is helping you to understand that making a data-driven decision with how it is the content that you're going to put out is most useful for you and not to use guesses or gut feelings. I prefer to use data. It makes more sense.
And data is a thing that we're hearing more and more about. And I think there are kind of two groups of people. There are people who are like the creative type and they love making stuff and that type of people. And then there are the people who like, okay, I need to know how this works. This is behind the scenes. This is the data. This is what it's telling me. And of course, there's a mix in between that. I fall on the creative side. I think data might be one of the weaker things that I have in terms of how I create content. And why is data so very important to small business owners?
Think about it this way. I'll put in examples because I'm visual also. So I have these little seashells and I'm thinking, oh, these are really cute. And my audience is going to love this because I think it's cute and I think that they would love it. It's all handmade, it's crafted, it's beautiful. But then I put it out into the world, into the public, into the space of social media. And I am getting crickets. Nobody is engaging. Nobody is liking it. I'm thinking, why? This is really cool. What I didn't do, the step I neglected to take was to find out, are people interested in these handmade seashell-filled bottles? And if there is a niche audience, should I then be targeting my campaign, my ads, my product to those people and not to just everybody? Because we tend to think as small business owners, sometimes we think, how we want to market this stuff? I want everybody to see it. But it is not, it may not be a product for everyone. You may have a niche market and it would be more useful for you to target those people. You're more likely to get a sale there than if you just broad brush it and target everybody. So that is a step where data comes in. If you did, and when I say survey, I want you to think about not a big survey, everybody. You could put like literally a poll on your page and have your friends or friends of their friends answer that poll. are you interested in, and give them three options and see which one that was chosen the most. And then think to yourself, if this audience prefers A over C, would it be better than for me to offer them product A, even though I particularly love product B, but I want my product sold. I'm not gonna have to, I don't have to eat it. Right? So when we think of data in a small sense in terms of small businesses, medium-sized businesses, you need to think about who it is that you're going to be reaching out to. And that is where the data comes in. And that's where it makes sense for you to not bypass that step, but to embrace it and learn from it.
I had a thought when you were saying that. I was thinking when it comes to data, because data essentially is truthful information about something. Like you ask people something, you get a response, and you hope that they told the truth, right? Because obviously we know there are tons of influences when it
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
to people saying exactly what is on their mind, right? Some the way people, and we discover this, what people say and how they behave sometimes doesn't line up.
Exactly.
So okay, so then I have a question about that. So if you, then the example you used was this bottle of seashells that you find is so nice and you like it. What happens if you have this particular skill or this particular talent or even a preference for doing something? You put it out there and you find that there is little viability based on the responses you're getting for this particular thing. Is there a possibility that you could market your way into getting a better response? Or at that point, you have to just give it all up and go into something else?
I would say that I wouldn't put it in terms of market my way into into getting the response I want. I would think about it in terms of my audience or my potential audience, who it is I'm trying to um, entice for my skill set. What is their interest, and how can I package part of my skill set to align with the interests that they have? Because let's take, for instance, a plumber. It has a lot of stuff the plumbers do outside of fixing pipes, fixing your pump, commercial plumbing, home plumbing. It has different aspects to being a plumber. So if it is, I'm talking to people who I I specialize in commercial plumbing, and I'm speaking to people who are more on the side of um, home who plumbing needs, then I'm speaking to the wrong person or the wrong people. I need to ensure that the interests of my audience aligns to my skill set and then talk to those people. And that is, again, where your data comes in. Your data is going to assist you with your demographics, their interests, right? And their behaviors. Because they might be interested in a plumber who is going to come and fix, let's say, the water pump in the house, or link up the tanks to your home. But they actually need someone who is going to fix the plumbing in the bathroom. Your toilet not flushing, or it's not the amount of water is too much from your tank, your toilet tank, and that kind of stuff. But you're not doing the work, and sometimes it's just plain laziness, or just that you don't know, a little bit of ignorance. You don't know that you should be focusing on the people or the audience that is coming or are interested in that one aspect that you actually shine in. So a lot of A/B testing is needed, or at least to start. So you could put out content, speaking to people on commercial side, speaking to people on residential side. Which one got the most set of interests? And then while you may be able to speak to both, start speaking to the one that has more interest from the audience. Look again at the demographic. You might get plenty interest, lots of interest, but the demographic, I'm not bashing anybody within this age range, but early 20s to 30s. The disposable income kind of not within your price points. Would it make sense to continue, even though again, lots of likes and views and shares? Would it make sense? What is the ROI? What is the sales aspect of it for you? Where you getting the revenue? So then you need to talk to probably an older audience where they have a more accessible, disposable income that they could pay for your service. So we looking at a lot of different factors, how it is you're going to market whatever product or service that you're putting out to the public, and many different facets to the data that you should be collecting and how best to use it.
All right, so we're going to get to the how best to use it part just now because I do want to talk about that part of it. But let me go back to and touch on something that you mentioned just now. The idea I had in my head of someone having two different types of expertise. Let's just suppose there, in fact, is a plumber, and then the plumber is pretty good at residential stuff, but maybe not so good at commercial stuff. But somehow the market tells him the opportunities are in commercial stuff. Does that then now inform the type of business he has to build, even if, number one, he doesn't have the skill in that particular area, and number two, he might not like to deal with commercial businesses? So is that a choice that a business now has to make? And are you saying that this data now then influences your core business decisions? Is that what you're saying?
To that aspect, yes, because if the market is more interested in commercial over residential, while you might still be getting some residential business, but the commercial side, it's a glowing, shining star. You could basically, do better. You could expand your business. You could grow more if you're going to commercial. For me, I would try to upskill, or at least see how it is I could bring someone into my business, of course, who I trust, that has a strong commercial aspect to their skill set, and then offer it. So, okay, digital marketing, I'll break it down like this. Digital marketing encompasses a whole range of stuff. Outside of data, social media, websites, SEO, search, email marketing, it's a gambit, and of course, content. I know of all, I am not strong in all. So I tend to collaborate with people who have a strong skill set in the ones that I am weaker in. And therefore, my business is now being able to offer someone everything that they're looking for under one space with two experts. And as a small business, we need to sometimes look at things like that, how it is we can collaborate with people within our industry. So, as what people say, everybody get a piece of the pie. And you're not left out in the cold, because if you're not offering what they're looking for, they're going to go somewhere else. Attention spans are short and time is money. So if I can't get from you, I'm going to look for somewhere else. I might as well collaborate and be able to offer it to you under the umbrella of my company.
I think that first of all, that's an excellent suggestion for anybody who has a business and is seeing opportunities. You don't have to have all the capacity internally. You can have somebody come in and assist, or outsource, or have a freelancer, or collaborate, or whatever means it is that you need in order to get that particular part of the business. I think that tying this to how you create content now, and then we're going to go into how you use data, because obviously a big part of this thing is that when you hear data, people tend to think numbers and statistics, but it has to mean something,
Yes.
right? The data has to tell a story. So when you start to put together, let's just suppose you put out a survey and it then tells you that 100 people prefer X product and only 10 people prefer Y product. But you've been really focusing, you've been building all your business around Y product, but now it tells you 100 people want X product in your business. How does that information now translate and influence the way in which you now have to create your content to attract this new market?
Okay. So a good strategy for that. So X is where people prefer, you when working on Y. Unfortunately, you put the cart before the horse, but you know how to fix that. We're going to look, or we're going to share with the audience. Okay, so X is, yes, X have all these features and what it is you're looking for. But what would even amplify this X product for you is if you incorporate Y into it. And therefore, you can get the benefits of list it out. So you're not going to push Y to the side because you've done work on that and you probably understand it a lot more than X. But you also need to basically give the people what they want. But you're not going to do it all immediately. Look at what are the interests, what are the specific interests of X product that persons are attracted to, so that when it is you are speaking to it, you are speaking to them in terms of their interest in this product or this service, and then tie in how the Y aspect can help amplify both for the benefit to them. At the end of the day, you have to show people how what's in it for them, how it benefits them. I am a small business. I consider myself a small business. I have no other way to put it. So I do think about, okay, I operate in the digital marketing space, but there are bigger companies and bigger agencies that they may need my service. So I tend to do a bit of research, and that is something that all businesses need to, you know, put aside ego a little bit and go learn. Everything is changing. It's a very rapid in our space, in the world in general. I would say in all industries, even nails, right? I visit my nail tech and she always has something new and exciting to show me in the world of nails. Nail technology is wild out here. They could do a whole lot of stuff. But if she wasn't learning and if she wasn't making sure that she stays on top of what is happening out there in her industry, she wouldn't be able to offer it to her clients like myself and wow us with first her knowledge, even though I'm not going and do all the fancy stamp thing and bubble and I'm not doing it. I'm like plain and simple.
Mhm.
But I appreciate when she tells me, hey, LaShaun, it have this new thing now where you could just put in your finger and just stamp it and you could get any pattern you want. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And I'm thinking, this girl, she on top of the game. I mean, I taken my flat color, I want no bubbles or stamp, thanks. But it puts in my mind that she is knowledgeable in this, and I'm going to continue recommending her nail service to others. So I think that small businesses need to look at it like that. Upskill and inform yourself, learn about what is happening in your industry. If client may not necessarily want it now, but they may know somebody who might be interested in it, and you get a referral. We cannot remain as a one-trick pony. We need to be able to expand, and the content that we put in out there with whoever, it could be on social media, it could be face-to-face content, because you speaking to someone about your product or service is also, I believe, a form of content. you are sharing knowledge about what you are an expert at. They need
Mm,
to know that you are literally an expert. You're not just doing one thing over and over and over. There are changes in all kinds of industries, and knowledge is going to separate you from those who are stagnant to and in comparison to those who continue to grow.
right. Okay, good. So a business owner knows this. They understand that this is important. They took your advice. They looked at a podcast. You were speaking somewhere. They're like, okay, well, maybe I do need data. It makes sense to have the data. Where do they start? Where do they start? Maybe they've already started their business, but they realize, well, things may not be going exactly the way I want it to go. But now that I am aware that I should have been looking at data, what data should I be looking at? Where do I start? I mean, this thing is completely overwhelming. It's not my expertise. How does this actually work? Could you share with some of that? Maybe give an example of how somebody has started in the past, or a way in which a business owner should start gathering this data.
Okay, well, I would say with your social media, most businesses, as soon as they start, they go and open a social media page and they start some sort of posting or sharing information about their services on your Facebook page, on your IG page. They all have native insight tabs, and those insight tabs, it can give you a lot of useful information. What times of the content that you share people are actually engaging with, your demographics in terms of male, female, age groups, interests, what it is that resonates with them more, what pieces of content that you put out, I would say, resonates with them more than others. So you can learn from that. Just go visit the Insight tab on all your social media platforms. And if you're now starting off a business, I would always recommend do only two social media platforms and get to know them, get to understand them. Visit the Insight tab. It really helps tremendously. It could be so granular in terms of it would actually state what cities or I would say counties people engaging with your content from. Because you're thinking, everybody that buying from me from Port of Spain. But when you look at the insights, Port of Spain is 40%, Chabonas is 60% of persons that engaging with your content. Therefore, there is an audience in Chabonas that is interested in what it is you're saying, but you're not speaking to them directly. Those things are useful. Even the break of the demographic break of male to female. Usually, I always it never fails, and I've been yet to be proven wrong. Most of the times of women who are engaging with content on the internet. But like my mom says, men are the head and women are the neck. So the women would be seeing it and they tell the male, hey, I saw XYZ. And then they would either collaborate if it's a family and make a purchase, because we females see this stuff. We out here, we just looking at content all the time, engaging with stuff. So if it is that you're a male-based business, right, you might have more men, but you're going to see also that you have a high percentage of women on your pages. So you also, while you might be selling, let's say, beard oil, most of the times it's the women buying the beard oil for the men. Yes, it's targeted to that audience, but it's females buying it for the man. My husband, he liked the meal stuff. He just not going to do it. He would be like, yes, when you're going to do it, just take my card and pick this up for her. Or I would tell him, hey, I saw this shirt by so. Oh, and I would show him it. And he's like, oh, that's nice. Yeah, go buy it for me now, because he not doing it. So you need to look at
Mm.
the dams in terms of women to men, and also speak while it could be a male related product, also continue speaking to the women.
At least we know it's was a perception before, but there's actual data to support this. I'm not sure in the Caribbean, but at least in the US, we know that like 70% of consumer decisions are made by women.
It is. It have
And
data for that for sure.
there's data to support that. So just in case anybody would take umbrage, ladies, ladies actually do control that shopping aspect of those things, even though the men might say, "Oh, I like this," and then they say, "Well, here's a gift, everything you like," type of thing. That's why I always encourage people to make wish lists.
Yeah.
Don't make a wish list. So so let's talk now about so we looked at our data, right? We look at certain aspects of it, and then we discover that I have like a skew in my demographics. Let's just call it demographics because we haven't touched on anything else yet. Of 70% ladies and 30% men, and then I have a skew in my demographics of urban city centers, 70%. How then does that inform how you create your content now? Because I know having this data, as we said, is one thing. The second part is it tells a particular story,
Yeah.
and then you have to translate that story into communication with your potential audience.
Yeah.
So how does that data story translate now into content? How can that work?
Okay. So we're looking at urban city centers, and we go back to our example of Portis being to Shabona's audience, right? So you're selling galoshes. Oh, umbrellas,
Galoshes.
rainy season.
Galoshes. Girl, I can't even tell the last time I heard anybody say that word.
Okay, rain boots.
Rain boots. Children don't even wear raincoats anymore, and we had a discussion the other day about that. In that because children don't walk to school anymore, they always dropped off, so they don't really wear raincoats anymore. We used to love raincoats when we were young. Anyway, that's as a side. So rain boots, galoshes. Let's go.
Right. Well, it's rainy season. Everybody knows the issue. Both areas, right? Rain boots. You thinking, tongue always flooding? That is my main place. No, you're wrong. They also have issues in Shogunas and Central. I would say make a video. It started rain, it's video time. Right? And it could be like you are looking to make relatable content for both areas because they're both interested in your rain boot. So they should be. The only time you know you wish you had rain boots is when it is you get caught in a torrential downpour and it have some flash flooding on your street or the street that you're in when you're in that area, right? Well, it's rainy season now, flooding in various parts. You put out some content. Hey, so next time you're passing on Shabona's main road and you get caught in a flood, did you have Ramdin's rain boots with you? So you're starting to speak into those people in that area because they know this is what's happening around me. And maybe I should go seek out some Ramdin's rain boots, right? So if you just take some time and craft what it is you're doing, it doesn't always need to be a polished, well produced piece of content. It could be something that is relatable to your audience, timely, funny, educational content is really great. I will tell you, it has lots and lots of data that's a support that when you educate a new audience on whatever it is that you're selling, whatever product, whatever service, they gravitate to it more because we don't know everything. And when you come out as an expert and say, hey, this might be the best way to, in my expert opinion, they're going to watch it. They're going to, You're laughing and telling you, you just need to, you just need to position yourself with the educational content that people are going to be or relate to. It always works. It has never failed me. I would tell you, big campaigns, small campaigns, I always start with educational content first and then go down the whole um, interest in my brand and brand awareness. But educational content does it on every platform. It
Mm.
never fails.
Right. So when you say educational content, you mean content teaching people
Yes.
about the
Whatever.
probably the benefits of your product, or maybe how it might be useful to them, or maybe about how they can gain from this particular thing in general. So okay, so let me draw an example. Let me give an example. So we worked with a company that they do they themselves are data but on the hardware side,
Mhm.
right? So they help people with storing their
Right.
data and
Okay.
transmitting their data. So they don't work on the software and the hardware side.
Mhm.
And a big part of their challenge was that businesses did not know that they could do that service here locally,
Mhm.
right? And so they had two choices. Either they could say, buy this service from us because we can do it locally, or they could have begun, which is what they eventually were, based on the content strategy that we did for them, they
Yeah.
eventually did, is go down the road of educating people about how data works, how this hardware helps,
Mhm.
and how people can save money by utilizing facilities like theirs locally, as opposed to using it outside of the Caribbean or even outside of Trinidad and Tobago. If I hear what you're saying that when you're educating people, you don't necessarily have to say, buy from me for these reasons. That's not really education. You have to do something that is helpful to them,
Correct.
that will give them like a quick win. And this is things I say sometimes, a quick win, and show them a better way to do something so that they're now empowered to actually do that thing. Is that what you're saying?
Spot on all of the above. Yes.
So then, as you gather more data, because so far we've spoken about the location, we've spoken about gender. Are there any other data points that may be important in helping to create this educational content?
I would say consider your consumer behavior. So, take example of your client who sells on the hardware side. My consumer behavior is to always, I'm looking to store data, so servers and that kind of stuff. And my consumer usually says, as soon as I think about that, I had to contact a company in the States. Then the educational side of it, as you rightfully said, is showing them that it can be done here. And this is how we do it and educate them. So it builds trust. They see that the same service that they could have gotten abroad, it is available locally, maybe at a more affordable price point because it's in country and not outside. So yeah, definitely. That's exactly what I'm getting at. If you're selling peanuts, you don't always need to be saying, buy my peanuts, buy my peanuts, buy my peanuts. Selling fresh peanuts, salty peanuts. No. You can basically say, see, there's any benefits to this to you. It helps with your skin, the shells give you a nice glow. I know, I don't know, I just talking nonsense. But basically, the benefits of whatever it is, that is how you educate people. And then they would think, oh, I didn't know that. Maybe I should go buy a pack of nuts.
Mm, mm,
And most likely they'll buy it from you because you're the one that shared that educational content for them to know about it in the first place.
right. There are some people who are they're not paying close attention to their data, but they're having a fair amount of success. And if you come to them and you tell them, oh, you should be looking at the data, and their response might be,
Yeah.
oh well, I don't need to because everything is going well. Um, is there ever a case where looking at the data is a bad thing?
No, I don't know why you're trying to trick me up with a trick question, but no. I would say, okay, so you're looking at the data, it has to be actionable, right? So come to our company and you say, oh, nothing's going good. I don't need to look at any data. I'd ask, okay, so what is your goals? What's your goals for next year? Oh, we want to make 10%, 20%, 30% above what it is we're doing right now. Okay, great. Um, how you plan to do that with your marketing efforts? Things are going good so far. Oh, well, what your data telling you about your marketing efforts and the trajectory you should be taking to hit that 10, 20, or 30% above what it is you're doing now? I wasn't looking at data, I don't know. So then that's your in, right? You want to increase brand awareness. You want people to know about your products, your services. You want to drive sales. All of those are clear goals that data can assist you with achieving, or at least even put you on the pathway to success. So there's never been a time where data is the wrong thing to consider in any aspect of what it is we're doing globally right now. I mean, there are times when the data we look at it's like, oh, we are not going to hit targets. But
Right.
you're not going to hit targets. Fine. But what can we learn from that? We can look at why. Why did we not hit targets? Because the data, again, it tells a story. It tells you why you're not going to hit it. It's not just numbers and figures and binary code. It is a bunch of stuff that is going to come together to give you a story of the why. So when you know the why, then you could take steps to rectify and possibly hit target next time.
So I'm going to ask you one big question, and then we're going to slide right in for the end at the end. Then,
All right.
so all right. So this is a it's a big question. How should I frame this? Okay. So when digital marketing came about many years ago, we know there's traditional marketing, and of course there was TV, there was radio, and those are the two major players. And of course there's print, right? There's print and print as in terms of things you could hold in your hand, like magazine pamphlets, and then you have like billboards, yada yada yada. When digital marketing came about, there was this promise, or kind of a said and unsaid promise, that we will now be able to know everything about everything because we could attribute all of this stuff to these people based on these digital markers, right? Because in mass marketing, you don't know how many people look at your billboard, right? You don't know how many people looking at your ad or reading this magazine. You can only tell on the back end, and if you do a survey, then you might be able to tell. But in terms of the actual numbers, but what has happened is that the internet has become so fragmented that you can't really tell how people get to you as such. And so they might see a Facebook ad, and then they might see a piece of content on YouTube, or they might be on TikTok, or they might be a blog or an article, and they bounce around to many places where they might see some version of you or your content. And then eventually they sign up on a form, and all of a sudden now it's the form that got the person to sign up, as opposed to all of these different touch points that happen around the internet.
Right.
And so my question is, when with a challenge like that, where you cannot tell exactly how somebody came to you, what are some ways that you can like proactively get that type of information from people who buy from you? What are the best ways to gather that type of information so you can be certain or fairly certain that this is the way this person actually got here, and then you could use that particular data to now talk to your other potential customers.
Okay. So that's a good question. And first thing is that there is actually a way for you to be able to track your different attribution points to from persons getting to you, right? Even if it's, as you said, all over and all kind of digital touch points, whether they saw a blog or wherever, there is a way that you can put tags, digital tags, and it will come to your website. You will know your analytics will be able to tell you. But again, most people don't do that. They think that's a lot of work. It is a lot of work, but yes, it can be done. A fairly simple way, and I know that most people, when they have seen this, you answer a survey and they ask, where did you hear about us from? And you check, you tick off on it or any that apply in terms of the question, what is, did you see a Facebook post, or they would say social media? Did you hear from us from social media? Was it a newsletter? Was it word of mouth from a friend? And those things would be able to, when you collate everything, which one has the higher touch point for you. There's also Google Ads. There's, banner ads on websites and stuff. Once you set that up accurately and anybody click it, it would tell you what time of day, which website it came from, like a myriad of information in terms of you getting that info, that important data for you to decide which one of these touch points makes the most sense for me to continue investing in so I can get more people to my business. And another really cool way is, well, I mean, we said it before in terms of surveys, but I love a good survey, I really do. I love a good survey. I tend to always encourage clients, especially if they're going to want to start or offer a new service, to let's put out a survey and see before it is you put a bunch of time and money into this service. If it's something that this market wants, the potential audience wants, and even help you with your price point, because that's important. We might think, oh, yeah, this is definitely $1,000 value. When it is the audience, it's like, I ain't paying more than $300. So then you need to consider all the bells and whistles are trying to offer. Should I bring it down to the general $300 range and then have tiers for the persons that may want to buy the more sell in terms of the service and do it that way? And that has worked quite successfully, I would say, with most clients. Well, yeah, most clients, they see the value in it, and it helps us cut down on wasted time. Because I do not like gut feelings. Unless it is like, I just walking along the road and I get a feeling, no, I should turn left instead of right. Yeah, fine. But in terms of my business, yeah, I am definitely going to go the data driven way.
I think a lot of people who run businesses after a while have head data that is described as gut feelings, but is really they know because of
Mhm.
experience, which is actually data in action, right?
Yes,
Is
it
wisdom,
is.
is wisdom.
Yes.
And so they say, I feel this way about it. But technically, it's not a feeling. Technically, you've heard like 100 clients say this already. So you kind of know
For
what
sure.
that is. You know what that is. But, and so experience is the original data set, essentially. So that's good. Any last things, any major points or last things you want to share with the people before we wrap up today, LaShaun?
I would say one thing I would like everyone to consider and do and basically back off of is vanity metrics. Please don't get so entangled in follower count and how many people like a post because it at the end of the digital day, it really means nothing. There is no conversion. What is the conversion of it? Vanity metrics are not going to assist you in the growth of your business. Look at the ones that are sustainable. Click-through rates, conversion rates, those things matter. We know we like to see, we definitely do like to see it, Ooh, 350 people like my post. I get one sale. No. We need to focus on things that are going to benefit us in the long run, whether it's short term or long term. And vanity metrics are not that. And again, data is your friend. It is useful. It could help you make proper, actionable decisions on how you're going to position your service, your company, yourself as a brand that some people, I know that that is some persons running a business. That is what is going to help you. So if it is we use the data right, it would be actually the best thing you can do for yourself and your business.
So, LaShaun, thank you so much for that. Some people may want to find out how they can work with you. Where can they find you online?
You can get me on ramdindigital.com or you could just look up LaShaun Ramdin. I do like to brag, but my SEO is quite good. So just put up LaShaun Ramdin. You would be able to find me.
I do like to brag, but my SEO is quite good. That goes on a t-shirt right now. I thank you so much, LaShaun, for coming and sharing with the people on the importance of data for their small business and for creating content. Thank you so much, students, for joining us on the Useful Content Podcast, Useful Content Classroom. Dismissed. And we're clear. We are clear.
Well,
But wait now. I don't. If I don't get likes, it's hurt my feelings. What's going on?
no, I tell you. So actually, I use you as an example for a lot of people when it is the like, I ain't want to put out my stuff and nobody ain't watch it. I'd be like, you ever hear Juma Bannister? Let me show you something. And I show them like, what you do your stuff on LinkedIn, useful content. Right. So I should always like, Juma don't care if two people come on that. He is putting it out. And you know what happens after a few weeks? It grows and everybody sees it and people are talking. So just do it.
Yeah, that I am committed to that regardless of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard and it's rough. It's rough. When you put all this work in it, and then you're like saying, "Well, who's there?" But then I have to tell myself, "It's not really one.
It's not really.
It's not. It's not
No.
even two. It's many over a period of time that causes
Exactly. And that is what, it trickles and it then resonates and people know,
yeah."
they learning stuff from Juma and then they seek you out.
And here's the funny thing. Here's what I've heard people say. 'Cause I've interviewed a fair amount of people. Here's what I've heard people say, right? So, okay, you are a business owner and you're getting 10 likes on a post, right? You are a different business owner. Let's just suppose both of you all are doing well. Nobody's suffering, right?
Right.
You're another business owner and you're getting 300 likes on a post. Here's the problem. Regardless if you're getting 10 or you're getting 300, if that 10 dips to 5 and that 300 dips to 100, you still feel the same way. You've gone down. So it's not the numbers, it's just the whole thought of getting less than you think you should causes a problem inside your own feelings.
Exactly.
And people respond
That's
to
why
that emotionally.
I don't want people paying attention to vanity metrics. I don't want it because I'm telling you, if you look at my business Facebook page, it's abysmal. It's horrendous. But what happens is that the conversion, sometimes one conversion is over $100,000 business.
Yes.
I don't care.
Yes.
I don't care
Yeah.
if nobody like it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
conversion is what I want to pay attention to.
Yeah. Because we don't get a lot of clients from our last. Here's the thing that people don't know. Our last 3 big new clients were from LinkedIn, right?
Mhm.
And those clients have since we did work with them, they've continued to do work with us. So they haven't gone anywhere, right? So it wasn't one-off, right? And what has happened as a result of LinkedIn, the clients who we used to work with and probably we got work from before and maybe they fell off the radar, they came back. They came back and they said, "Oh, I saw this," and so they are reminded of this thing, and that type of business keeps on coming in.
Exactly.
And so it keeps the pulse of the business going,
Exactly.
So
and I
it's not much.
I prefer that any day. Sometimes, like, I would use something like this, and I would get a call, and I always say just search my name, you'll find me. And I would get a call. I would get a call to my phone. Hey, I saw so. Do you have time for us to discuss XYZ? And like, great. So before it even happened, thanks, Juma.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I had to thank a lot of people for my things too. And thank you for coming on and sharing and so on.
All right.
Good stuff. All right, let me stop recording. This is the post-credit talk I have with people that ends up always making it into the podcast. It's all good. The Useful Content Podcast is brought to you and produced by Relate Studios. You can see the work we do on our website at relatestudios.com. If you like what you've heard on the podcast today, please follow and come back in 2 weeks for another great episode. And if you want to get more useful content in between that, you can follow me, Juma Bannister, on LinkedIn and on Twitter. We all know it's still Twitter. See you soon in the Useful Content Classroom.